So I just want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us. So as you know, Opportunity Desk every year hosts the OD Impact Challenge. And that challenge seeks to recognize the efforts of young change makers across the world who are doing incredible things in their communities. Last year we had our top 30 and then we had our top 12, and out of the top 12 we had top 3 winners. Clinton is one of the winners, and Anne, I believe, is one of the top 12 finalists. Yes, so one of the things that you would also like to know is that we partnered with several organizations. One of them is the Global Changemakers, GCM. GCM is a platform that empowers young change makers across the world, and we're so excited to have them come in to support us. So the good news is that our ODIC winner and ODIC finalist Clinton and Anne went on to take the GCM project management course, after which they qualified for the grant, and they have emerged one of the winners of the coveted grant. I will not tell you more than this. I'll let them talk. I'll let them share their experiences and also tell you how much they received, and of course how you too can benefit from opportunities like this. So I'll bring Dr. Clinton on board.
Hello, Mama.
Yay!
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Clinton. And hi,
I'm great. Hi, Mama.
I'm doing very well. Thank God.
Not really be doing this.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you,
Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Awesome. So, let's get started by hearing from you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your project, and of course, what inspired you to start those projects. I know that the OD Impact Challenge works or looks for people who are already doing something in their communities, either as founders or as part of a community or an organization that is implementing projects. But for you both, you have gone on, you've created organizations, you've done quite a lot of work. So tell us what you've done, your project, what it's about, and what inspired you to start.
Okay. So
Clinton, you want first? Okay, great.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks so much for this opportunity. So my name is Okechukwu Clinton. I'm a final year student at Obize. I study optometry. I'm also a health advocate. So I started with a project. It started Heal the World. That's my project, Heal the World. Healthy Eyes Awareness Literacy. So I started this project in 2019, and I was not the only one. A team of members called Retina Initiative. So the project is about going to schools and educating them about the various issues about the eyes. We teach them about complication about the eyes, teach them about the refractive status, about disease of the eyes. Then organize free visual screening. We go to primary schools, secondary schools, teaching them about different issues that are happening to the eyes, and also we educate them. We also donate free first aid eye kit because we noticed that there was a high rate of ocular injuries. So many children were actually having injuries and they don't know how to manage it. They don't know what to do in such scenario. Then we donated a free eye kit. Now this kit has so many equipment and so many resources to actually manage ocular injuries. So that's what the project was about, going to schools, teaching them about the eyes, and also donating free eye kits to manage ocular injuries. And we did it in 2019, and we continued. And that was the project that actually took me to Opportunity Dex and helped me bring the ODIC in patches in 2022. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That sounds great. So you didn't found the project or the organization, but you're leading the team that is working on the project. Thank you very much for sharing about him. Yes. So Anne, over to you.
Okay. So for me, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very grateful. My project started since, I would say 2016, kind of 2016. And then the idea, when I got the idea for this project that currently got the funding from Global Changemakers, was I penned out the idea in 2018. Now, what inspired it was the environment where I grew up. I grew up in Zuba community. And then going to university, every time I come back, I noticed that there's just been this issue of teenagers' restiveness, cultism, teenage pregnancies, and all that, and no one was really doing anything about it. So the normal trend is, if you manage to get to the university, the next thing is you just find your way, go, leave the community and do whatever you want to do. But then it became an issue even while I was still a student. So I started the Hangout with Mark, and so kind of bringing a community where young people just come, talk about their future and all that. So we kept doing that since 2016, 2017. And then I went for youth service in 2019. And then 2020, COVID happened. I was back at home in my parents' home. And I felt like, okay, having a once in a year hangout, it's not really going to change anything. We need to do something that's more sustainable, maybe in a monthly mentorship meeting, and then think of how to empower the teenagers through skill acquisition to just help them get busy. Because I've noticed that when they are restless, that's when teenagers have energy, and because they are not positively occupied, they are getting into the social vices. And I'm thinking, what can we do to effectively engage them? So I started Teens Connect Africa in 2020, and then since then we've been doing a monthly mentorship meeting. And then an extension of the project was also to do a talent development project where we can form talent clubs as a way of, maximizing their time, their energy. And that's what we've been doing all the while. And, till this opportunity for this grant came about.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. It's inspiring what you're doing with the teenage people in your community. Thank you, Clinton and Anne.
Thank you.
That was a great introduction. So obviously you guys are hands-on change makers who are very busy people as well, because people who do these things, where is the time? You're focusing so much of your time and energy, into making your work better, into reaching the people that you're reaching. So I understand and I relate to everything that you said. Before we go forward, I just wanted to know how you found out about the OD Impact Challenge and what the application process was like for you. Because a lot of people follow Opportunity Desk, right? But then when the applications close, they come back to say, I didn't know you were running a competition. I didn't know about OD Impact Challenge. So it's not unusual that you're following a platform, but then sometimes when key information like this is put out there, people just miss them. People don't follow through. They maybe find out about it much later when the deadline has passed. So I'm wondering how you found out about the OD Impact Challenge and what the entire process was like for you. But,
okay. Okay. I don't know who's going first.
Peter, you can go.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
So how I actually found that I was always on the Opportunity Desk page. My notification was always on. So I like Opportunity Desk gave me this platform to actually grow. So whatever opportunity or whatever information they passed on, I was there. I was always looking for it, because all the 2019, when I first got my first grant from Peace First, so I get to improve myself, get to get better. So I was always checking for mentorship opportunities, I was always checking for fellowship opportunities, So that's when I got the Millennium Fellowship, the CGIU. So I was always there. So when I saw the competition, though I did had a friend who actually participated last year. So when I saw the opportunity to actually participate this year, I took it immediately. Like I rushed on the opportunity to actually participate this year. And my journey towards in the competition, I think it actually gave me a platform to just tell my story. That was what I actually saw it as. I didn't really see it as much as a competition or trying to get a particular part. I just saw it as an opportunity to let the world know what I wanted to do, let the world know what I plan to do. So it was a platform to actually go high. I just found like a platform to just stand on to other opportunities. So that's what I just wanted to do, just tell my story. So that's why it was actually easier for me through the process. So it's not something that I found so taxing. With each question, I just found out, okay, this another question to let the world know this is what I did and this is what I plan to do. So that was the whole process for me. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. It's always, I mean, we made it as thorough as we could, but then try to still keep it simple. And the reason is so that even if you don't get selected, even just the experience of answering those questions, like you said, and thinking through what you're doing, being articulate enough to talk about it in a minute, because the video says 60 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So that's very helpful so that you, going forward, you know what to do when you're called to pitch, you know how to put your ideas together and let people know what you're doing. Thank you for sharing, Clinton. So Anne, over to you.
Okay, so I've been following Opportunity Desk for some years now. You know, I see, because I'm always looking out for global opportunities and all that. But I think for the OD Impact Challenge, the first time I saw it was, I think last year, Stanley Anibogo, I think he was either the winner or the first runner-up. He's a friend that I follow, I know him. So when I saw it again, okay, Opportunity Desk Challenge last year, so it clicked because I had seen someone who did, I don't think I saw when he did for people to vote, but I think he that won. So it just, you know, there's some things you see and it registers in your subconscious. So that was what happened. I think, and I got that mail. No one told me about it. And I saw Opportunity Desk Impact Challenge. So I looked at the benefits. Okay, oh, you can, I was like, okay, so I need this. I can get this to help what I do. And even if I don't want it's even more visibility. So I looked at everything and I'm one person, I think I should be one of the last people who submitted because it was on the day it was ending, but I did mental note of the questions and so basically it wasn't that hard and I've answered a lot of questions and it was quite, you know, it wasn't that. So I had to just use some of the things I just paraphrased because the words were, I think 250 words or thereabout. So I just had to summarize. Then I did the video and I was excited when I saw, oh, top 12. I'm like, okay, okay. So, but I think it's just, I've seen someone sometime last year and then I received the mail. I'm signed up to Opportunity Desk. I have their mails constantly, you know, coming into my email. So, and that was it. Yeah.
Very much on point. Thanks for sharing. So it's actually very, very competitive. So for you to be selected, you really, really deserved it. And it was I remember how tough it was for us to get down to the final 12. And from the final 12 to pick the final 3, it was tough, but you guys got in and that's because you truly, truly deserved it. So thank you for sharing. I'm just wondering, when you got the email saying that you had won the GCM grant, how did you feel? I've been hearing a lot about rejections, you know, and lately I've been trying to encourage people, look, rejection emails do not define you, right? Rejections, they're not a testament to who you are. You were selected. If you were selected, it's for a reason. But if you were not selected, there are even more reasons, and it's not about you. It's about so many other factors that had nothing to do with you. So I know how people feel when they get those rejection notes. You know, they're sad, it's false, they're weak. But we don't hear enough about how we feel when we get the acceptance emails. So how did you feel?
Okay. So
anybody can
so I'd say, you know, first of all, I was really hoping I would get to top 3 for OD Impact Challenge. So I didn't make it to top 3, but then I said to myself,
sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you. I'm actually referring to the Global Changemakers
Yes,
grants.
yes. So I'm trying to, I'm
Okay.
going there. So,
Okay.
but I made up my mind that since there's an opportunity for a product management course, why not take advantage of the other prizes that, opportunity that's made available, which was the change maker course. So then I took it. I wasn't really, it was just at the dying minute of finishing the course, almost at the deadline. I said to myself, okay, why not give this a shot? What project are we doing? What project can I put in? So I think I responded. Your Tolani kept sending reminder mails, and it was really helpful. And I said, okay, why not just take this opportunity? Don't let it go. You've completed the course. I pushed to complete the course, and then I had to just put in a project. I thought of what project can I put in, and then I remember the project I wrote down in 2018. Now we've done a mini version of it, but not the way we're going to do it this time around because I didn't really have the money to do it the big way. So I'm like, okay, why not put in for this grant? So I had to, use the knowledge they talked about. I looked at the template and I was able to put everything together. So the first mail I got was, oh, you're up to the next phase, because we were asked to first do a video where we talk about the problem you want to solve. So I did the video, and then almost like 2 days later, they were like, oh, go ahead and submit the main proposal. I was like, oh, wow, really? The main proposal. I looked at it, the questions again, and then I was really, when I saw the mail that I've gotten to the final phase where it was going to be an interview, I'm like, oh my God, interview, good. I can't get to this point and not win. But I was still open because I've learned to accept rejection as part of progress. Making it to the finals for an interview, why not? So I fixed my date for the interview, and then I had the interview with Gabriela. And then the questions were, it was more like, oh, they even made conclusions like, oh, I'm like, okay, whatever happens, let it be. And then 2 days later, I saw the mail. I was super excited. I think the first person I had to reach out, I sent to my partner. I'm like, my girl, we made it. And then I sent to Tolani. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Like, we were selected for the grant. And she was like, oh, wow, what's up? What was the amount and all that? But I felt excited. I know I've won a local grant before by another NGO where we started the mini phase of this project we're now doing now. So having a global grant for it was super exciting. Another thing was I felt we were going to be disqualified somehow because I had not registered since we just started the registration process this month. I related it to Tolani too. I was like, okay, do you think, when I was preparing for the interview, I'm like, do you think that this thing, what do you think, how do you think we should prepare for it? Do you think this will be a challenge during the interview? She was like, okay, I shouldn't project that. I should just project about the impact and the project and everything we're going to do. But the thing is, they didn't even ask question about if you were registered. They were more interested in the change maker yourself, what you are doing. And I was so excited. I am still very excited. Yeah.
Something you said that really resonates. I like that you shared this because you are not an ODIC top 3 winner, yes, or you were a top 12. And, a lot of people get to that point, they didn't make it to top 3, and so they're angry, they're upset, and they're like, you know what, I'm not going to try again. Yeah. But what you did was profound. You went back and you said, no, let me look for other opportunities that are available for top 12, because that's the beauty of OD Impact Challenge. We have something for everyone.
Yeah.
Like from top 30 all the way to top 3. We have like a lineup of benefits beyond the prize money, but people don't even know that, and they don't take advantage of those. But you went ahead, you took advantage of, you leveraged this GCM opportunity. You took the project management course. It takes a lot of grit, patience, determination to go through that course, and then come to the point where you are able to apply for the grant. Right? It's free money, but it's not really free because you have to, put in the time, you have to put in the effort, and all of that. And you got to this point. So you totally deserve it. Congratulations to you again. Thank you. And thank you. I just want to say that it's the beginning of many more grant opportunities to come. Because I also won the Global Changemakers grant many years ago, maybe 2012. many years ago. That's like 10 years ago. And that grant, it wasn't my first grant. It was my maybe second grant ever. And it changed everything for me. It made a whole world of difference. So if you're listening to this today, don't take it for granted that you can start from somewhere. This is like a little beginning, right? But it's going to open doors to many more. And probably 1 year from now, you'll just be like, Stanley, we'll be interviewing again, because I am very sure that lots and lots more opportunities are waiting for you. Thank you. So
Okay, thanks
Clinton,
very
over
much.
to you.
To be very honest with you, I think I felt more excited when I first saw, when I was chosen to be among the top 12 for opportunity decks. I think that was the way I felt excited was more than the way I felt excited for the grant. I won't lie to you, because I was, I was so excited because I saw the message early in the morning. I saw it very, very early in the morning. I just opened my email, I just saw the message. I was chosen top 12, and I was like, I was at work. I just shouted, and everybody just had to turn back, like, what's actually wrong? Because one, I know that the opportunity decks was not just for Nigerian students, it was all around the world. So to be chosen as top 12 all around the world, I was so excited. Like, I was so excited. I didn't even know we were chosen to be among top 3, so I was so excited. So when I got the opportunity to actually apply for the GCM grant, they were given 3 stages: the video stage, the written, and the interview. So I was thinking I need to do something else. I didn't want to repeat the same project, because there's a project I was actually working on. I'm actually working on right now. So I decided to push that project, and this is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do. It's called IKEA campaign. I need to always do this project. So when I saw the opportunity, I've gotten a grant similar to GCM grant. I got the pollinator NG grant, so it's almost the
Yeah.
same thing. So I don't know, when they told me to do a video, something I've already done with opportunity decks. So I was already like resonating on the same frequency. So I just did another video to express myself, to tell my story. And when I just got the message, because they sent us a message very early in the morning, like, you have passed this first one, and I was so happy. Like, I passed this first one. They gave us some days to actually write the written. And the written was actually more challenging, because they wanted to know almost everything. It was so detailed, very, very detailed, the written aspect. So, like, I had to take my time every day. I'll just answer a single question, because I didn't want to just rush through it. I didn't want to just give any answer. I don't want to take my time to answer. So every single day, I take my time, answer a question. The next day, answer another question. That's what I was doing, so that everything is going to be well articulated, and my points is going to go home to actually pass on it to do. So being awarded the GCM grant was really, I was really, really happy, because during the interview stage, she asked me, because I need to reach over 20 people for my new project. It's about giving free cataract surgery. So she asked me, can I actually reach, with the amount of the money given with the GCM, can I actually do it, reach 20? And I was very honest with her. I told them, with the amount given, it's not going to be possible to reach 20. Like, I had to apply for other grants, which I actually got also with the GCM grants, which was very, very lovely. So when she asked me, can you actually get 20? And I told her, no, I can't get 20 with the amount given. And at that point, I thought the whole chance of getting the grant was all over, because it will not be enough to get, with the money given, I'll not be able to get up to 20 people, which I intend to actually help with the grant. And she was like, okay, can I do some other things? I was like, yes, I plan to do some other things. I plan to apply for other grants. I plan to reach out to other people. And she was like, okay, don't worry, we'll get back to you. And she gave me a particular day, like, I think 4 days time to get back to me. And within 2 days, she actually sent me a mail telling me, you have gotten the grant. And I was really happy. So it was just something like I didn't actually expect. So I was really happy.
And thank you for saying that you were more excited.
I was.
That prepared you for subsequent congratulations that you're going to receive. But please still keep the excitement, right? Because gratitude, I mean, it's so important. Celebrate every little win, every big win. Don't wait for the very big ones. Celebrate every little win. It's the key and the passcode to unlock even more opportunities. So thank you so much, Clinton, for sharing. So just in one word, what would you say is the biggest challenge you have faced in doing your work? Things like this serve as motivation for us, but what people don't know is that the real work is hard, and there are always challenges. And for you to even get to this point, it means that you found a way to surmount those challenges. But I just want to hear from you, and I would like people who are watching this and those who will be watching after now to learn about what your biggest challenge is working on your projects and how you have overcome them.
So,
yeah,
I think my biggest challenge, which I'm actually still facing every day, I still try to overcome it, is time management. This is a course that was actually taught in the GCM. So to actually manage my time, because I'm also a student, I also have to work, I also have to plan my project, I also have to apply for grants, I also have to apply for fellowships, mentorship opportunities, still go to class, and still try and manage every single thing, and still try and impact people. So time management has always been a problem to try to overcome.
So how do you navigate that, and how are you able to combine being a student, a medical student for that matter, right? How do you combine, how are you managing that, and also, working on the projects that you're doing? Today I was on a live session, and one of the things we talked about is, volunteering from even while you're a student. And it will surprise you to know that a lot of people don't want to take that step because they're still in the university. What they don't realize that's the best time to even get started. Learn, make mistakes, so that those experiences become part of the things that will help build your CV immediately after school before you get real life work experience. So tell us how you're able to manage your time and still do everything that you have to do.
For me, how I try to manage my time is from the start of the semester or from the start of the year, I write out everything I plan to do. I put a deadline. So I have my expectations, I have my deadline, I have my school periods. So once I start, I create a timetable. Then I write out all the applications I plan to work on. I write out the projects I plan to work on. And I write out also my school calendar and what I hope to do at a particular time. So just like I said, when I was applying for the GCM, I don't rush my application. So when I open it, then I look at the questions. I try to manage like if they give us 5 days to actually apply for a grant, or 5 days to actually apply for an application. So I try to list out the questions, divide the question in particular, like let me say 2 questions per day, so that I don't rush the grant. I also don't take enough time away from my academics. I don't take so much time into the project. So if I can take 2 questions per day, focus on those 2 questions, answer it thoroughly, then I don't go back to the application. I just focus on my schoolwork. I
like to take your time to do things, and you also kind of there's a part of you that sits back to reflect on what the term will look like, and then you take your time to plan. These are the things I want to do. You even add deadlines to the things you want to do. And adding deadlines, people don't know, but adding deadlines to your tasks helps give you something to look forward to. It just finds a way to motivate you to complete that task, right? Because you can say, oh, by so and so date, I should have finished doing this, or I should have completed this. And it just pushes you to work towards that set deadline. Thank you very much for sharing, Clinton. And tell us that one challenge that you face in your work, in your projects, and what you've done to overcome them.
Okay, so I think my challenge is actually I think a couple of them. What is coming to my mind is building a team that supports what you do. So for a very long, I'm a person who I have a lot of skill, and sometimes I can do a lot by myself, but it can be overwhelming. So I know last year I had to reach out to somebody. I'm like, how do you even get volunteers to work with you? Because I have people who are around like, oh, we want to support, but getting to delegate tasks and say, okay, I'm trusting you with this, do this. It's not like I don't trust, but it's more like I don't know how to bother people. Since I'm not paying you, I feel like, okay, I don't want to push too much. So if I try once or twice, if you don't, I may just decide to do it myself. So it's been that challenge, having to navigate, because I need to work. Definitely, this is not what I'm doing. I have paid employment. There are things I need to do to make money, because once you're done with school, you're taking care of yourself. So how to manage the time for the work I do as a social entrepreneur, handling an NGO, the work I do and other activities, and then you have to other volunteer for other persons. You have activities in church, you're working in church, you have your normal paid employment where you have to work. Then you have some other side, they call it side hustle. You have to either create courses because one stream of income is never enough. And whatever you're doing needs to be funded. So how do you manage having to do all these things, then get people, and then still make that impact? It's been that thing. So I'm always in between. Any slight opportunity I get, even while working, I'm thinking of, okay, what other applications do I need to do? And then I have experienced delayed gratification. There are times where my phone got stolen, where I need to get things, where I said to myself, I need to pay for rent for this teenagers meeting. We need to meet every month. So you need to pay for the rent. So I've sacrificed a lot of things for myself. I've let go of that ego where, oh, that big girl thing. I need to walk to the community sometimes, inviting teenagers, come for it. And I spend my money because every time I get money, the first time, even before I started, when I started Things Connect, I was not earning yet. I wasn't working. So it was more like even the small money you get, you're just putting that, you need to pay rent, or this person needs to learn a skill. So it's just juggling all that thing when you want.
You've just successfully described the everyday life of a social entrepreneur, the everyday life of a change maker, the everyday life of the Nigerian who is trying to make things better in her community. And I relate to those struggles because that's exactly how it was for me when I started out. Sometimes you don't have enough money, like you said. Sometimes people are just not doing it the way you would like for it to be done. So they're volunteers, but you still have to get down to do the work yourself. And there's family, there's school, there's like so many things that are calling your attention. But balancing all of that is really what adds beauty to what we are doing. You know, finding a way to prioritize, finding a way to say, hey, this is what I have to do at this time, and then we can push the others to the next time. Trusting people to handle things, you know, bringing on board passionate volunteers, passionate team members who would handle certain things so that you can have some free space to, you know, do other things. That's some of the things I believe are helpful and have helped you as well. So thank you very much for sharing. I just have 2 more questions and then we'll wrap this up. So I want to find out how you are planning to use the GCM grant to further your projects. Are you planning to use this to scale? Are you planning to use this to start up something new? How do you plan to spend this money?
Okay. Thank you. So I'm planning on starting a new project. It's called the IKEA Initiative, Initializing Cataract Awareness in Rural Environment. So all through my journey as a social volunteer, so what I do is actually work with prevention. Then that is talking about how to prevent eye issues, eye complications, refractive error, problems with the eyes. All is all about prevention. So all through, I've witnessed so many cases which could have been prevented, but I've actually gotten worse, and nobody wants to do anything about a case that has actually happened. Nobody wants. There are no how do I put it? Nobody's actually working on when it has actually happened, what to do next. Because normally we just go about talking about prevention, what not to do.
Okay.
But now I'm actually trying to help those people that have actually been affected. Because one of the places I went to was a community called Makoko community. And those people were actually plagued with cataracts. These are people that the fishermen and fisherwomen, so they could not actually go about with their work anymore. They could not actually work anymore because they had cataracts in their eyes, and so they could not even see. So now this.
But what would you use? Sorry, what would the grant help you now do? Because yes, there's a lot to be done with the project, but do you think that this could have happened without any grant? Is this something you could have done with your personal money? If not, how would this grant now help?
Okay, now so this grant is providing free cataract surgeries to people in this community. So that's what I'm actually working on. Normally, I could have just done a visual screening and go there to educate them with my own personal volunteers and my friends. But now to take it further to the next step, I want to actually provide free cataract surgeries. So we'll go over to this community, then actually screen those those that are affected, then provide free cataract surgery. So I've actually met with some eye clinics, so partner with me. not to provide free catheter surgery for those people that actually affected. So that's what the grant is going to actually be used for.
That's beautiful. I can imagine that those surgeries would normally be expensive, right? And now, and this grant is making it possible for them to access the surgery, you know, and live a better life without paying a dime. So thank you so much for that. It's such a beautiful work. And they used to say our reward is in heaven, but I hope you get some reward here on earth as well. Yeah. And how do you plan to spend that money?
Okay, so what I plan to do, we've been running the talent development project because that was what I could afford at that point. So, and it was more like a yearly event where, you know, we get the teenagers in the community to exhibit their talent. Then we get some mentors to come talk to them. But then I know that we needed to scale what we do. Even we have mentorship clubs running, but it's just more like the teenagers doing whatever they want to do, because there's really no one providing that guidance, telling them how they can make it more creative, how they can productize it, utilize social media and all that. And then there are also people who feel like, in quotes, their talent is not really dancing or acting or singing and all that. So that's where the second aspect, that's the skill acquisition program, came up. So what we're planning to do with the fund is to do a talent development and skill acquisition project, in the sense that we're getting consultants who are established artists in spoken word poetry, in music, in dancing, and in acting. So those ways. And then the second aspect is we're also using community entrepreneurs who already have business running, as either fashion designers, as hairdressers and barbing, and also there's one other skill. So we're empowering, because there are a lot of teenagers here who are either out of school, not doing anything, but having them run like a 3-month training. So for those who feel like, oh, we want to go into the creativity aspect, dancing. So these people are taking them through a course every weekend. They come in, practically they're taking them, and then the other persons are enrolled in the skill acquisition program. And after that, they do kind of an apprenticeship where they keep working with those people. And with that, they're empowered. They can either start fending for themselves, their families, or those who want to now go back to school. They have that skill they can, you know, leverage to skill.
Awesome. And that's not small work. That's not good work.
It's not.
Yeah. It's not small work. I know what it means to work with these type of consultants and artists. You know, they can charge quite a lot of money. So now this grant is going to give you the opportunity to, you know, pay them for their services, organize a 3-month program, you know, get girls or boys, the teenagers to come out, feed them. Sometimes when you're planning programs, when you're thinking about what are people going to eat, what are they going to snack on, you think it's small until you start, and you just realize that a chunk of goes into all of that. So it's great to hear about the project, and the reason why I had you guys talk about it is that I know that there's some people, hopefully they're not on this live, that will get grants like this and they don't do what they're supposed to do with it, right? They go buying large equipment or paying for rent or doing like things that are not going to translate to actual impact for their project. So it's great to hear both of you talk passionately about what you hope to do with the money. So finally, I just want you to tell us or give some kind of advice to young people out there who are looking to make positive impact in their communities and even just achieving what you both have achieved so far. So what would be your word of advice? If you could take yourself back to when you started, what is that thing that you would have loved to hear someone else tell you that could have helped you in your journey and help someone else who is starting out, or even just looking for access to opportunities like both of you have gotten so far?
Okay. So thank you, ma'am. So my advice, the first answer is don't give up. I know it's a kind of big way, but don't give up. It's really something. And also try to surround yourself with good friends. That's very, very important. I can't overemphasize because of what I've actually achieved. I have my friends to actually thank for, because they've always been in my corner to actually push me to most of these activities. I've actually seen some of my friends. I've seen there's some I've actually mentioned about Sunday Bear Ismail. He was actually one of the winners for last year. He's a close friend of mine. So I actually have him in my corner. So actually, whenever I have an issue, I have him to run back to. Then I see what he has done. I see what I want to do. So have friends around to actually motivate you. Because sometimes you're going to feel down. You may feel down. You don't know what to do. Things may not be working. You may get this rejection mails, and you want something to actually push you forward. You want something to motivate you to do better. So just have good people around you. Don't see them as rivals, but as healthy competition and people you can actually look up to. So you can tailor your life towards that particular path you want to actually go. So those are my advice. Don't give up and have good friends.
Great advice. Have good friends and don't see them as competitors. See them as healthy. What did you say? See them as healthy partners in development. Healthy competition. I don't even see them as competition. I see them as partners in development. You're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and we can help each other grow. Thank you for sharing those powerful nuggets. Yes, over to you, Anne.
Okay, so for me, I would say the first word is you're not too young to start. Okay, and there's always a smaller version of that big idea you have. So no matter what it is, just start. Because when I look back at my journey, if I had not taken that initiative to start, there would be no story for me to tell. So there are times opportunities come up, but they are looking at what's that little thing you've done. What have you done? So I'll say to everyone who has that vision that you want to do something, always look for a mini version of that big vision. Ask yourself, what can I do with what I have now? I can go ahead and share how I start, but it will take a lot of time. But there's always something you can do. It can be, maybe you want to reach out to 10,000 people, but start with one person, start with teenagers, start with just your siblings, but just do something. And then the second advice I would also say is, your environment can be a springboard to the opportunities you're looking for. Sometimes you want to make change around the world, but you've not started in your immediate community, in your immediate environment. There are things that people complain about. There are things that you are even that disgust you. But ask yourself, rather than join the contribution or complaining, a lot of people complain, but I've taken that part of always asking myself, what can I do about this? So whenever you see a problem, first of all, start from your immediate environment. Don't run away and, you want to go save the world, but your environment, your community have not felt your impact. So start with your environment, and then and then the final thing is, I would say, maximize every opportunity. Every opportunity, go for it. There are times you're going to fail. There are times where you get that rejection, but keep your eyes on the big vision and keep going for it. I say to myself, if I had just declined and say, oh, I didn't get to top 3. All right, I give up now. Shebi, they have chosen their winners after I went around canvassing for people to vote for me, because I really did a lot of that. People voted and I was like, I would have just given up. But I said to myself, okay, there's a course. Why not take advantage of that? And why taking the course? I said, oh, there's a grant. Why not? And I'm here. But if I look back, so every opportunity you get, no matter how little, show up and deliver to the best of your capacity, even if you don't even know how to do it, but make that attempt. And if you fail, accept that part of the progress, a part of the process. Put your eyes on the main vision and keep moving on.
You've said it all. You've said it all. Thank you so much. Rest assured, we are going to be picking out your words and putting it out there as quotes so that people can see and be inspired. Because this, I'm personally elevated by just hearing you share about the environment. You're right about smaller versions of big ideas. Everyone needs to learn to start small.
Yeah.
You don't even need money to start a project, right? If only figure out how to break down those goals into very small pieces and leverage people, resources, in-kind donations to get your work started. When you do that, these donors, sometimes in the questions they ask about grant in the grant applications, they want to know what you've done already. If you've done nothing, they can't support you. So they want to see that you've invested in yourself, you've invested in the idea that you're trying to push forward. Then they can trust you enough with their money. So thank you so much for sharing. Everyone, maximize opportunities when you see them. Opportunity Desk, of course, is that platform that is always rooting for you and fully funded, access to fully funded opportunities, like you've said. So whether it's scholarships or fellowships, jobs, awards, competitions, you can find all of it on opportunitydesk.org. And look out for the next OD Impact Challenge coming up later this year. And hopefully we'll have more exciting prizes for the people who will join. Thank you again, Anne and Clinton. Everyone, if you want to ask them more questions, please follow them on Instagram and other social media platforms. You can get their what do you call it? Their usernames here you can get their usernames here. Follow them, ask them your questions, and I'm sure that they'll be willing to answer them. Thank you again for joining. Thank you so much, Clinton. I'm so honored. I'm grateful. Thank you for saying yes to share your story with Opportunity Desk. Do take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.